Now I unboxed the Define R2 a while back, but the Define R3 actually came out to replace it quite a while ago. So I had not had a chance to unbox the Define R3, but now I do. This is actually a special Define R3. So the Define R3 is available in all of the same colors as the old R2. That is black, and then black with a titanium front, and black with a silver front. But this one is an all Arctic white version. So it is more expensive because the paint finish on it is higher end and it does cost more to produce. But let's have a look at what the R3 brings to the table over the R2. So first of all, let's have a look at what Fractal Design has to say for themselves on the front. Stylish ATX case with focus on combining top-notch design and style. And funny, they don't say anything about silence, but it is. Brand with high ambitions to deliver products with an exclusive design, good quality, and interesting functions, all at a modest price tag. Okay, we have an opening in the motherboard tray for easy mounting of CPU coolers. We have removable dust filters and anti-vibration pads below the PSU position. All 8 of the 2.5/3.5 inch drive expansion bays are SSD compatible. So you could theoretically load this thing up with 8 SSDs if you had the budget for it. All right, so let's get this box open up for one thing. And then here on the other side, you guys can sort of read about some of those features while I open up the packaging to show you this case. Most of the features are pretty similar to the Define R2. The first thing we find inside the box is actually a user's manual. So there's some stuff in there about how to remove your side panel, I suppose, and oh, look at that. So they show you the case, label all the parts. Oh, good for them. Okay, let's flip this over. And it looks like the packaging has actually been reinforced since the Define R2. So instead of using just an outer cardboard shell with foam packaging, there's actually another cardboard layer as well as overall thicker foam around the case, packing it in. So here, I'll let you guys have a look at that. So that gives it a little bit more structure to the package itself, meaning that once it ships from Fractal to the reseller to you, the chances are very good it will still be in mint condition. That's what packaging is all about on cases. Cases especially, it's very important because they're heavy and big boxes, you know, tend to get thrown around by the couriers, and so it's very important to have a good outer box, especially if you have a system inside, because that adds a lot more weight to it and can put a lot more strain on the packaging. All right, so there is the Define R3 Arctic White. They've done a very good job of matching the white color between the plastic components and the metal components. So yes, this is a colored plastic, this is painted metal, but it's very, very difficult to see the seam between them. First thing let's do is let's have a look and do some external impressions. So on the front we see our Define sort of look. This is what the Define R2 looked like. It's what the Define R3 looks like. One thing that's improved over the Define R2 is these little 5.25 inch bays. So now they're a little bit easier to remove and snap back into place with a little locking mechanism. Okay, we have the same doors in the front where we have removable fan filters and mounts for up to 2 120mm fans, and the same noise dampening foam in the front door. This is a reset switch which was added over the Define R2. This reset switch was not present on the R2 version of the case. Up at the top, we find the same overall inputs and outputs. We have headphones, microphone, power switch with a power LED around it, and then a hard drive LED. Oh no, this is the power LED. There's no hard drive LED, my bad. And then there's 2 USB 2 and 1 eSATA port. Up here we have some Modu vents. Modu vents are cool. I'll talk a little bit more about them in a bit, but these 2 fan mounts can take either 120mm or 140mm fans. Up to you. So let's take off the side panel. Actually, here, we'll have a look at the back first so you can see the white finish. It also extends to the back, so we have some black accents. So this is pretty much the opposite of the black versions of the case, where we have a black case with white PCI slot covers. Now this is a white case with black PCI slot covers and black accents. So, oops, if I can get the side panel off, that would be a good thing. There we go. All right, so, Here, on the inside, you can see right here, this is Fractal Design's noise dampening material, so it's present on both the side panel as well as a moduvent here. So let's talk about, actually here, I'm going to bring this down, and let's talk about moduvent. So moduvent means that if you decide not to mount a fan here, you have noise dampening material. If you unscrew these screws, we're actually in the side panel, I should have mentioned this, you can do either a 120 or a 140 millimeter fan. If you unscrew the moduvent, you can put a fan in there so you can decide whether you want maximum silence or maximum cooling. Okay, I got the screws in my pocket here. So yeah, inside we find black accents where the where the black versions have white accents. So here are the drive sleds, now black. Compatible with 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch drives. Let's have a look at the overall interior. So here are the moduvents that you were able to see from the outside. So you can remove those foam pads and put in fans should you so desire. At the back, we have a couple water cooling grommets in the top. Whoops, I pulled that one out. Oh, my bad. A couple water cooling grommets in the top. 2 in the back, so if you want to mount an external radiator, you will be able to run your tubing through there. Looks to be compatible with 3/8-inch tubing max though. Don't think you'll get 1/2-inch tubing through there. We have a 120 millimeter fan in the back, 7 PCI expansion slots. We have a power supply mount that has rubber on the bottom. It has a foam spacer piece between the back of the case and the power supply, so that means that as long as your power supply has a reasonably silent fan, you shouldn't be passing any vibrations along to the chassis. We can mount another fan here in the bottom, okay, with these clips, and that is a filtered fan intake. There's also a filter, which is removable, under the power supply intake fan. If you have a 120 mil fan, you can intake from the bottom without any risk. Here's another thing that's been improved from the R2. The silicone cable management grommets are using a much higher quality rubber. So on the R2, they were a little bit stiff and they didn't return to their original form quite as easily. So these ones are phenomenal. And one of the great things about the Define chassis is that you can use these cable management holes because there is adequate space between the side panel and the motherboard tray to run any cables you want back there. Here is the CPU cutout, so you can replace your heatsink without actually taking the motherboard out of the case. And then moving along to the front, we have our 5.25-inch bays, one of which actually comes pre-installed with a 5.25 to 3.5-inch adapter. So if you only use one 5.25-inch device, like most people out there, you can even mount 9 drives in this case in the standard configuration. And then of course, there's our mounting accessories as well as a PCI slot mounted fan controller. So that's there. And then you've got your 8 3.5-inch / 2.5-inch drive mounts. Here we have our bundle of black, so it's nice to see this. That's what gives you a good aesthetic in these Fractal cases. Black cables, so these are for the front switches, front lights, front USB, and the front eSATA. So thank you for checking out my unboxing and first look at the Fractal Design Define R3 Arctic White chassis. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos.